Hello everyone, it's me, Wondertina again. I am a varied artist who has been creating music lately. Mostly I do art in traditional way and digital way. However, today I am doing something different again, namely it will be a retro pixel animation for my new piece which I have been working on for quite a long time. The music piece is titled Once Upon a Time, was also one of the first pieces I created when I started my adventure with music. But it lacked a lot and was quite irritating and repetitive. I thought I had lost the open file for this piece so that I could work on it some more, but luckily I found it somewhere hidden in the files, and so a few months later I enhanced this piece so that it could be listened to. So as you can see, I struggle a bit at first because I haven't done it for a long time. I don't remember what the best tools are for this, but I will remember how to do the pixel art in a moment. I wondered what size to choose. I decided to make a 16:9 aspect ratio screen to resemble the one on old TVs. Of course, the image will be the standard image size as today, 1920 to 1080. But I will keep the black sides so that the effect is more convincing. At the beginning, when making pixel art, you should start with a very small size such as 150 to 120 pixels so that you can freely draw these limited drawings. I think of it as creating mosaic from small fragments of tales. It is very similar. Then all these limitations don't interfere so much. Then you just need to increase the image size to 1920 to 1080, starting with the height first. It is important that the option preserving sharp edges is checked. Without it the image will be blurred, and we want to have clean sharp edges. And I really wanted to have text appearing letter by letter, but I don't want to look for some paid program that would probably want to tie me to a leash called paid subscription, which I don't really need for this small project. And I tried to find a cheap way and I found one. I found on internet how to make such texts because the only way I know would be too time consuming and very boring as writing letter one by one in PNG format. It is not bad if you have a few letters, but not like 1,000. It can be done in a free program Shortcut where you first record the latent text in Word using OBS, then throw this recorded text into Shortcut and use the rectangle crop. Next, you can immediately do the opposite of the recording so that the letters appear from the beginning, not from end. We save the video and then throw it into the library where this text will be further edited. With a white background, some blending mode like add is enough, and that's it. I am speaking generally, it's a pretty twisted operation and I don't like it much because it has its drawbacks. But if you really want to do something like that for free, here's the way. And for the story itself, well, it's also quite interesting where I got it all from. I didn't think long because these are biblical inspiration where I bought the story of King Melchizedek, which has always fascinated me. Then the story of King Josiah, who tore his clothes when he was brought the found lost writings. And this element with the prison and the angel is from the New Testament, from the story of Peter where he was miraculously freed and led out of the prison by an angel. I have always liked the story and character of Melchizedek, the king of Salem. That's an old name for Jerusalem. There is not much about him in the Bible, but he's incredibly mysterious and his character is an analogy to who Jesus is, a priest forever. King Melchizedek simply appeared from somewhere. His lineage is not known, who his parents were or what happened to him later. He was there and then disappeared. It is interesting who he really was because it is written that even the father of faith, Abraham, gave to this king the best of his tithes. So who must have been Melchizedek then? Well, the New Testament leads me to think that it could have been someone more, but Jesus, as the incarnated Word of God, appears in a human body much later. But we know that the angel of the Lord could appear as a man. We see this when Jacob fought with the angel of the Lord. Then Samson's parents also saw some amazing man who also was called the angel of the Lord. So this thought is very tempting when it comes to who King Melchizedek was. Plus the fact that he was the king of Salem, Jerusalem, is also an interesting detail. We know that when Jesus comes, he will sit in the millennial kingdom on the throne which will be located in Jerusalem. And King Melchizedek was a just king. In addition, Melchizedek reigned at the time when Israel did not yet exist. This nation was just forming. And a lot of time passed before kings appeared in Israel. What do you think? This is a very deep analogy. So cool. Then this idea of the boy finding the teaching from the king, it is inspired by the story of King Josiah, who was a very righteous man, but when they were doing some renovation in the temple, they found, among other things, forgotten writings, which, after being read to the King Josiah, caused very strong emotions in him, so that he tore the rolls of his robes, which is associated with something dramatic. The squire from my video had a similar reaction, but he was only a squire, not a king, so he ended up in a dungeon. The fact that he ended up in a dungeon is also similar to many other stories in Bible, such as the one with Daniel in Babylon and Joseph in Egypt. But here it is more similar to what happened to Peter in prison, sleeping chained between two soldiers. The angel of the Lord released him and let him out. And then the last part with the horse and armor is something more like from Narnia stories, but it's built in such a way that this story could work quite well as a plot for a game. I can program, but I don't have time for such things either. I guess it's not what I want to do anyway. But I think this story could be expanded so that the gameplay could have deductive value and reach the player with knowledge from the Word of God, and it wouldn't be so cliché when it comes to the story. It could be a completely unique experience. The game would have monsters to fight, they would represent some bad things like fear, anxiety, anger. For example, the fear monster would do something annoying like lowering the team's morale with his chatter. The anger monster could change players' status to berserk because it fits what anger does, and so on. There is no end to creativity in RPG games. Oh, and the squire, yes, the squire. The guy has no name because it's a retro game and the creators don't really care what to call the main character. is tasked with finding the missing scrolls, and for example, each such discovery will teach something the player, plus give them a hint where to look for the next ones. Then it would be great if new NPCs joined the squire over time. I would create a story for each such character who, along the way, had their own personal confrontation with the Word of God and thanks to it will change and also will be able to fight their problems. Oh, and I would really like if the squire become a king after finishing the game and keeps the law and was just. It would be very similar to the stories of Daniel, King David and Joseph, who also didn't run for high office because God prepared them for it, but before that happened they had to go through various challenges. And our squire will have such challenges too. And that's how the walk of it looked. It was fun. And one more thing, I wanted to share my findings on DeviantArt or somewhere else on social media. My criteria are: I don't comment if I don't like it. I only comment on works that I really like. Of course, if I don't comment, it doesn't mean I don't like it. I am seeking for genuinity. I see many remnants on the internet who are not scared of AI and are authentic artists who don't care about their current situation. Obviously, AI ruined the experience of art on internet because think about it. No one wants to be cheated, and what a pleasure it is to wonder every time whether this art is AI or not. Many people have moved away from the internet, I won't lie, and that's good. Thanks to this, trained AI becomes like a snake eating itself. I don't care much. I love creating and appreciating others. Oh, and one more criterion, the level of skill doesn't always matter because you can have a perfect drawing from a boring photo or something really interesting done with much more less skill. You know, someone did something perfectly. Yeah, it's realistic, yeah, you have a craft, but where are you in this? Where is your uniqueness? That's what I am looking for. Okay, I picked Forest Guardian by Wolf's Storm. The first one is this doggo. I appreciate this illustration as a good design. It reminds me a lot of the style of the game Okami. Maybe in Okami 2 such wolves would appear. I think this design would work great. House with two teapot spouts by River Javeler. I don't know how to read it. This is a very brilliant idea. I haven't seen something more interesting and funny in a long time. Orange Ginger Kitten Watercolor ACO painting by Tulpeta Arderops. I have been following this person for a long time, but these cat heads have so much personality. With time, these cat portraits become more and more impressive. Bow by Snail Hierarchy. Oh, what's going on here? It's a colorful feast. It tastes like cotton candy. I am melting. Okay, that's it. There's also a big boom in Ghibli studio art. People just copy frames from Ghibli movies. It's not particularly creative, but the number of responses show how much people want to see something authentic, pleasing to the eye and, above all, human. Okay, I am done now. This was a cool video to make. I hope you like it too. Bye.